take a look afterwards?
Yeah, I will. I want to. This is perfect because this could be my last night on the earth if Gonzaga loses. I just want them to win so badly.
Oh, like this is a rooting interest thing.
I hate UCLA. I'm not ready for them to lose. I also financially need them, but like I would pay a good amount of money for Gonzaga to win tonight.
All right.
They're gonna win though.
Yo, well, look at that. Richard Burkholder. Here we go. I was afraid my favorite show of the day was canceled. Nah, man, we're here. We're in business. Welcome to the Odds Shop. Happy to have you guys with us. Step on in, sit down. Let's shop around a little bit today. I'm Dave Loughran at Lafay_D and Ben Rasa at JazzRaz DFS, hanging out, talking a little betting today. We got a lot to get into. Only 4 games on the NBA slate, but I think you probably got a little college action on the side, a little parlay building that we'll get into. Also, I think there are actually some great bets for today, even though it's a smaller basketball slate.
I like some of those. You know, I can go a couple different mentalities. Sometimes when you have the big slate, it's great. You have so many more options, but you don't, even with the tools, which are fantastic, of course, you still can't get to everything. When you have these more manageable slates, you can really dig in. 4 games is perfect, not just for DFS, but even for betting. I like this type of schedule.
I 100% agree. And oddly enough, you wouldn't think so, but one of the best runs I had all last NBA season was in the first and second round of the playoffs, where specifically the first where you had like 4 games a day, you know, and you could peel through everything. Now, granted, we didn't have the OddsShopper tool at the time that would just give you all the best bets, but it definitely made things a whole lot easier to be able to narrow that down and find the best plays. How many college games are there today?
4.
You got 4?
4 and 4. You got Euro qualifiers, as I told you, just started about 20 minutes ago. I just took a peek at see what Liechtenstein was up to, and Enco, but that's neither here nor there.
When are the qualifiers?
Right now.
Okay. And when are the World Cup qualifiers?
That's way later.
I thought you were already betting. I thought they already had like certain lines on those.
This is for the individual continents, like African World Cup is today, Euros are today, like the qualifiers for those. So it's all the European teams playing the European teams. And there's some lopsided matchups, Portugal and Liechtenstein, a little minus 20,000 action, but we don't need to talk about that. We got more important things on the docket.
Yeah, like you guys being with us today. Happy to have you here. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff goes a long way, and we appreciate you for it. Tell your friends about the Odd Shop too. Odd Shop, all that good stuff. And our new chalkboard app. Yeah, that's right. If you're not in there yet, it's totally free. Everything, all the picks, all the conversation, the sweating, the winning, the commiserating when we lose, the making money together. The app is free, and everything in it is free. Will always be free. Link down below in the description and in chat. For those of you, I see people in there too, in the chat right now. You're in here every day. Why not hang out with us in chalkboard? I was in there shooting the shit with someone at 6:45 this morning. Dude he's in Australia. So it was like, he was about to go to bed at 6:45 and we're just talking about setting up bets for the day. It can't beat it, man.
That's good stuff. And yeah, I see all the regulars in this chat as well. We got some of our favorites in there. It's going to be a good show.
Let's do it. So first things first, should we take a look at how you and Eitan did yesterday?
No.
Not now?
No, let's just skip. We can take it actually, you know what, we can, because the community was down with me.
Yeah.
In the gutter.
Community lost on the community poll. You lost on what was your bet?
The Oilers minus a half goal in the first period. They scored first. They held the lead for 15 minutes, but that doesn't do us any good. 1-1 at the end of the first.
Also shocking that Eitan bet an over on a Sixers player.
Yeah, the show yesterday had some things in it. I was on the show, and I'm not sure exactly what we did, but yeah, there were ladders.
What do you mean?
Well, it got into the weeds. We were building ladders with Jokic and Anthony Davis and Maxey, and but Eitan put a little check mark next to his at minus 105. Definitely a nice piece if you got there.
He got the dub. Happy to see it. No Paul George either today. That's interesting. He's out for an extended period of time. It's not one of those days, though, where you just have a ton of guys dealing with injuries. It's really Paul George, and that's it. Now, I will say Jalen Brunson popped up on the injury report, so we could get into that a little bit. He's been playing a ton of minutes. They're on the second of a back-to-back here on the road. They just faced the Miami Heat, so but just faced Miami. They got Orlando. It's not a ton of travel, but yeah, that's it. So there's not a lot of moving parts here. I do think, though, if Brunson were to get ruled out, you might get some good opportunities where like several different books post lines on guys like, on Quickly and such. And one of them or two of them are just going to be far off from everything else.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I didn't remember that. I'm glad you brought it up. Probably the best part of the show for me yesterday, more on a personal level, was we were doing the show and Bradley Beal got ruled out. And a lot of people in our chat were talking about jump on the Nuggets. If you get them at 7.5 or 8, you got some good closing line value and you were able to cash those tickets. They won by double digits yesterday. So some of this news between now and tip could break, particularly as you mentioned for the Knicks. And maybe we can benefit with Quickly or Hart or Barrett or some of those guys if we're ready to go.
Yeah, man. I had the over on Beal points, 23.5, and then he sat. So it was 26.5 the day before with Kuzma out. Kuzma's out this game and it's 23.5. So yeah, took a shot on that. We had him projected real nice on Bet Pro. He was popping up nicely on the OddsShopper tool. I said, let's go for it, but no dice. Anyway, that's fine. We go one. The great thing about a parlay is if only one of 3 legs hits, wouldn't matter if 2 of 3 legs hit,
That's right. That's why I saved my winner for today. Because what's the difference?
You know what we did hit the other day, though, you and me on this show to kick off the week. Remember that Killian Hayes prop where we're like, man, 3-pointers? He was just draining them in the first quarter.
He had, I don't have it in front of me, but it legitimately felt like he had 15 points in like 6 minutes. He was dealing.
I think he had 17 points in the first quarter.
Yeah. It only took 1 3. Like I said, we knew that was juicy, but that was as easy as it gets.
It was. We're going to find some of those. That was on the OddsShopper tool. I hit that. Dude, I've been smashing these bets on the OddsShopper tool on like these smaller books like Bet Rivers. There was one this morning, and we're going to get into the actual bets right now, but I just want to throw this out at you and get your opinion on this, right? Because it doesn't come along often. It was a 15% expected ROI, right? Return on investment. That's like as high as you're going to find on these, right? And it was gone 10 minutes after it popped up. Fortunately, I jumped on there at the right time, locked it in, and it was gone, right? 15% expected ROI, 60% expected win. It was 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists on Nick Claxton, Ben. 21.5 over points, rebounds, and assists on Claxton at -104. Everywhere else was a solid 23.5 over juiced, or like 22.5 with the over juiced to the moon. And they pulled it as soon as it went up, but I got in on it. If it loses, fine. I just know that I'm getting insane value on something like that today.
No doubt. And never say never. I don't want to say this can happen, but I would say 99 times out of 100, if that's the case, it's on a smaller book. You rarely see FanDuel have a line that's so far off from everyone else.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's one of the many benefits. If you are able to get a couple of those books, it really does help, but every site has inefficiencies. That's the beauty of it.
Claxton on DraftKings right now is 23.5 -115. So that just tells you all you need to know.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to jump into some stuff here? Win some money? Ready to make some money?
Let's make some money. I need some money.
All right. All right. And
I
also,
lose it on Gonzaga.
If you're taking some of these very high X win and high X ROI bets, I want you to answer this for the community, right? I want your expert opinion on this. If you find like, say, 3 bets on the same book and all of them have 4+% expected ROI today, right? I'm looking at 3 of them right now with 60+% expected win. How do you feel about parlaying them? And would you throw a unit on that? Would you, like, what would your bet be on that? Because these are objectively good spots to bet, but you can still get into trouble parlaying them if you do it wrong.
Yeah, so the thing about that, there's two sliding scales, and you just want to think about it logically. You've got the scale of ROI, which deals with profit, which deals with money. And then the percentage, just the raw percentage chance you win the bet. When you make a parlay bet, obviously your chance of winning the bet is much lower. Your ROI may be slightly higher, around the same. Those two things are what you're trying to balance. So what I always try to do is always try to get the best of both worlds. Instead of saying, say I was going to bet 1 unit on all three, maybe I bet 0.8 on all three, and I take the 0.2 I saved and I add them together. Now I've got a little parlay action. You know what I mean? Like you just remove a little from your bet. If you bet $100, maybe bet $80 on each, and then take the $60 you saved and build it into a YOLO parlay. So you have both kind of best of both worlds.
I like it. And you know you're parlaying good bets just by using this. So that's the thing.
You know that part is secure. What you also know, though, even with, and you can see, and when we bring up the parlay tool during this show, a great plus EV parlay, if it's 5 or 6 legs, the chance you hit it is like 8%. And that's
I'm
profitable.
talking like 2-3 leg parlays, like
even there, you're going to have what, 30, 35%. So 70% of the time you lose, and that's enough to make it profitable, but you're still probably going to lose frequently.
Right. So you have to be disciplined.
Absolutely. Or you'll be like everyone else who bets parlays, which is overextended.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm looking at Evan Mobley rebounds right now. Our highest XROI bet on the board. Now, this is, if you're looking at the unders here, you got DraftKings at plus 115 under 8.5. FanDuel has under 9.5 at minus 130. So very different odds there, but a different number entirely. We have this at a 7% XROI right now, 60% win rate on Evan Mobley, 6.25 OS bet percentage. For those of you that are new to this channel, if you have questions, by the way, like what type of, foreign language are they talking about? It's insanely easy to understand if you just stick around for a minute. OS bet, just a recommended percent of your bankroll to bet on something like this so you don't go broke. XROI is your expected return on value, and X-win is just how often is this bet expected to win? 60%. FanDuel, our number one bet right now on the board, under 9.5 rebounds on Mobley at minus 130.
Yeah, and again, just to keep hammering home that same concept, the under 9.5 by definition is going to have the highest X win, of course, because if it lands on 9, you still win and everyone else loses. The ROIs can be different because the juice is going to adjust. You're laying more minus 130 than you are on the 8.5s that are plus money, but still not enough. I mean, this jumps off the board, a 60% win percentage. So we're saying you're going to hit this 6 out of 10 times. And at minus 130, that is very, very profitable.
Yeah. I'm actually placing that bet right now as we speak. I'm
Honestly,
telling you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and again, the tool does the work for you, but I'll just say on a personal level, I like attacking the Cavs. The Cavs are a team that I feel like there's not a ton of variance in their front court. I know there's been some guys in and out, but I like the matchup with Brooklyn. A lot of these things I think are good. And Mobley is just someone, the Jared Allen situation. To me, this actually makes a lot of sense to go under here, just on a peripheral level.
I agree. Yeah, and Allen, since he's returned, right, because he missed a handful of games there. He comes back for one game, immediately plays 35 minutes, hauls in 14 rebounds. So it's not like he's getting eased back into action here. He was dealing with an eye injury. It wasn't a lower body or like something where he needed considerable conditioning. They faced Brooklyn last time out. I know it's only one game, Ben, but Evan Mobley finished with 4 rebounds and 6 in the other game against the Brooklyn Nets this year. So if you wanted to back that up a little bit, Mobley has not exactly been a monster on the boards in his 2 meetings with the Nets this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Allen in there, this looks good. Most importantly, of course, you're getting the right number. That was one that was pretty easy to navigate. Julius Randle was another one that stood out. Not that I had a feel on this, but that was the other one I wanted to ask you about. His assist prop is one of the more profitable on the board right now.
Yeah. I don't hate it. It's 6% XR, 63% win rate at minus 145. again, this is one of those weird bets where you're getting like 3.5 on DraftKings at plus money, and then 4.5, the under's juiced everywhere else for obvious reasons. But I think this one, and really anything on OddsShopper, depends entirely on where you're getting the bet, right? Like entirely dependent on where you're getting the bet. If you're on points bet, it's a good spot. I know not a ton of people that watch this are, but it's not, all things aren't created equal. Like you don't just look at this and go, all right, let me go bet the under on FanDuel where it's minus 154. You're actually removing the value from the bet that is given to you in the tool. So yeah, I don't hate that. The Mobley one intrigues me more just because so many people are already on FanDuel. Now, I would definitely recommend getting on as many books as possible, even if you're just putting like 20 bucks in them and getting the promos. But I like the Franz Wagner rebounds prop too, the under 4.5 at minus 125 on DraftKings.
It wouldn't be a show if we didn't mention one of those brothers. Now, I want to ask you, I'm almost certain we bet this exact prop the last time we were on the show together on Tuesday. It was the same line. I mentioned it, and then I brought up Mo, and he landed on 4. So we're right back at it. It's the same line, same number.
Yeah, we are right back at it.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably a spot that I'll continue to keep hitting. It isn't to say that there aren't going to be games where Franz Wagner goes over. 2 of his last 4 he did. But statistically speaking, he averages 4 rebounds per game, less than 4.5. Not a lot of juice on this one. And look at other spots, man. My God, minus 150, minus 142, minus 148. DraftKings has still had it posted at minus 125 on Wagner under rebounds.
It doesn't really have to go beyond that. If you have it where the books are unanimous, basically, and the consensus line is in the minus 140 range, and you're talking Vig Frey, minus 125 is going to get it done. So starts and ends there for me. For some reason, I don't know why. This is more of just like, I swear to God, 75% of the props somehow the Magic are involved all the time with these, particularly these 2 guys. And you're making me sweat half a 3, but
that's Mo. That was big.
I know. You see, it's like I can't get them. I can't keep them straight, but I'm fine with that. Again, it's only 4 games, so you're going to be dealing with a lot of props within the same teams, within the same games, and I'm okay with that. But it's just a lot of Brooklyn is coming up, a lot of Knicks are coming up, a lot of Magic are coming up.
You know what spot is wildly intriguing to me today? And this is me just leaving the reservation for a moment, just to make your head spin. Okay.
Okay.
Jonas Valanciunas.
Every time you always every time you're like,
well, I've been advocating for the unders on the last few shows we did, but now he's played 34, 33, and 28 minutes over his last 3. That last game where he played 28 minutes, he lost 5 minutes in a blowout victory against the Spurs. Just annihilation. I think it was the Spurs.
Yeah, 35-point beatdown.
Yeah, crushed them, dude. He would have played another 33, 34 minutes. So I look at this 28.5 points plus rebounds, and I look at the last 3 games, and I go, man, if he continues to get these minutes, the sky is the limit. 34 points and rebounds last game, 33 the game before that, 39 the game before that. Now, the great thing about Joe Val is he could play 25 minutes and still go above and beyond that number. But, dude, Charlotte is allowing the second most points and second most rebounds to opposing teams this year. They're allowing the most rebounds and second most points to opposing big men. They're one of the worst defenses in the league, and they're playing with a backup center who, since he has taken over in 5 games, their interior defense has only gotten worse. I think this is a tough one to gauge because there's so much volatility when it comes to Joe Val, but the recent patterns suggest that this is a good spot to take the over. And I only say that because this is one where I'm kind of injecting my own thoughts into it, going, why would you, Yes, he could go back to playing 15 minutes, but it seems unlikely because he went from playing like 24 to 26 down to 16 or 15. Now he's been playing 33 or 34 for 3 straight games.
So there's a couple of things that I really like. One, we talked about this, on Tuesday. We said with Joe Val, like, well, if it's a blowout run, yeah, give me 19, 15, and 5 in the blowout. That'll play. Like, we just saw them destroy a team worse than they're going to destroy what is a terrible, terrible Charlotte team. But we just saw him thrive in that environment. You want to go off the reservation. I'm going to go, I don't know what's beyond the reservation, but I'm going to take it there. To me, Joe Val is the type of player, if you were going to look for ladders, he's a great candidate because when you get the minutes, and you don't always get them, but when you do, he's the type of guy, he is more plus minus like 10, 15 off his over-unders than most players. Like when he smashes, he smashes. And when he doesn't, he has, 7 points and 4 rebounds.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. I think it's probably high time we take a peek at what they look like.
Let's dabble.
All right, so we're laddering threes on him, right?
No, steals. 10 plus steals.
Yo, there was a game last year.
Don't.
I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure a lot of chat remembers this, right? And by the way, I got allergies or something. You asked me the other day if I was sick. Just out of.
You told me before that show, though, that you climbed up some type of like chimney contraption to get birds out of your house. So don't.
No, the birds were trying to get into the dryer vent to build a nest. So I had to put like a grate up and block it. I thought maybe it's still maybe all the dust is still stuck up there. Whatever it is, man, rough few days for me. Had to live on Sudafed.
Get a little Zyrtec action.
Which life could be worse. Sudafed's pretty fun. But, okay, so where was I before you threw me off? Oh, I remember. Before you started talking about chimney sweeps. Mm-hmm. There was a game last year where Joe Val, out of nowhere, knocked down 6 threes in the first half. And he shot 6 for 7 from 3 in the first half. I don't know if you remember this. It was what's that?
I do not, but go on.
It was a preposterous performance, and you just knew it wasn't going to happen again. I mean, on the season, he's averaging less than 1.5 3-pointer. He's averaging less than a half a 3 made per game, Ben. Actually, exactly a half. But it was one of those games. We're not laddering threes. I doubt you could even find it. I can't find a ladder opportunity on rebounds for Joe Val on DraftKings. Do we have it on?
So I'm on FanDuel right now. And again, you can't get like super crazy, but if you're building same game parlays and stuff, over 14.5 rebounds for Joe Val, which is not crazy at all. And that's why the odds reflect it, is plus 210.
I'm not opposed. If I'm doing this, I'm climbing to the top of the ladder and going to plus 320 on 16 rebounds.
Yeah, I mean that's the type of that's the type of aggressive nature thing that you want to do. Let's see if I can find just for you. I don't even know if they have. Yeah, they don't offer his threes for obvious reasons.
Well, let's just say that he plays 33 minutes today. Okay, I understand that's the high end of the projection, but if you know this as well as I do. If we're laddering something, you're playing for the ceiling projection on everything.
Yeah, overtime, max minutes, just you're trying to get lucky, an outlier.
Exactly. So his per 36s this year, he's averaging 14.2 rebounds per 36. Those are just averages, okay? That's not factoring in the matchup here, which is stellar matchup. Not factoring anything outside of just averages per 36. I think it's more than possible. He had 17 just 3 games ago against Houston.
So Calvin in chat, who's friend of the show, is a real sharp guy, just mentioned the bet that I want to bring up. To score 25 plus points, plus 650.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought you would be running to the window for that.
I mean, I like it. I definitely like it. But also I understand why 25 plus points is much longer odds than 16 plus rebounds.
Oh, it's not even in the same stratosphere, of course.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, I mean, when you
Kind
only
of
take
fun.
like 8 shots, it's hard.
They should have like jumbo double ladder
15,
opportunities. Dude, they really should. It'd be a lot of fun if you had those type of bets for guys that are minus 500 or minus 300 to double. You know what I mean? Like 20, 15 double. What are the odds on that? Or, 25, 13 points, assist, double. And then you can really get into it. So like you love this guy to double, have a huge game. You could go a little alt double action. That would be pretty fun, man.
30, 20, 10 action.
Yeah. Dude, do you know how popular Andre Drummond 2020 props would be back in the day if they had that, or like Hassan Whiteside when those guys were playing huge minutes?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and you can, if you're building same game parlays and stuff, you can craft that up, but it
right.
But I hear you.
Kind of fun. All right. So Joe Val +6, what was it? +620 on that.
So if you say he's going to have 25 and 15 tonight, it's 17 to 1, just a little north of 17 to 1.
If you put those together.
I mean, you're talking about like you're asking yourself, does that happen more than 5.5% of the time, basically?
Damn, dude.
1 out of 20? I don't think that's crazy.
That's kind of fun. If I went 25 points, and 16 plus rebounds, it's 20 to 1. 20 to 1.
Not bad.
No, what's the implied probability? What's the implied odds on that for him to go 25 and 17?
At 20 to 1?
Yeah.
I mean, the straight break even on 20 to 1 is 5%.
Yeah, this one's 4.6%, right? 4.7%. It's plus 2,000 plus 2035.
Yeah. So 5%, you're eking it out. Does he do that 1 out of 20 games?
I honestly think this
matchup,
right? I don't think 5%. I don't think this is that bad. Like, it's obviously a long shot. Yes, of course.
But you're getting paid for it.
You paid for it, and I don't think it's egregious. This isn't like, will Nick Richards have a 30 and 20 game?
That was my next one I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I honestly might.
Live a little.
Just for the sake of having fun, I want to throw this in our chalkboard channel as like, not a recommended bet, but as a, like, here we go type of situation.
Yeah, group community sweat. Everyone puts in a couple bucks.
I might dabble.
Okay. I mean, again, I'll tell you this much. I think we both agree on this. It doesn't mean he's going to do it. It doesn't mean he even can do it. But if he was going to do it, that a matchup at home against the Hornets is the exact type of matchup that I would want for him.
Yeah, it is the best spot that you could get to in terms of like, when could he do this? It's this game. Yes,
I agree with that. This is the perfect setup. Now he could, like you said, he could play 24 minutes and most likely you're going to see a normal distribution. But I think that his standard deviation with this type of stuff's a little more extreme.
Let's go, baby. Lock it in. Speaking of long odds, Eitan Chandler's been doing the parlay video, the OddsShopper parlay video, right? Where he's pulling these parlays from OddsShopper. They've just been smashing.
Yeah, he's cracked the code.
What's the code?
I don't know, but whatever it is, he cracked it because he's hitting parlays like I'm trying to hit straight bets. It's just like,
how many legs, Eitan? For those of you that are watching, Eitan, how many legs are you doing? 3 legs in these? 4 legs? What are we doing as far as legs? Because we're going to build one right now. We're going to use the Eitan Chandler method and build one on OddsShopper right now.
He really is a sun run. It's no joke. He's just on one of those modes.
You guys have access to this tool that he's using.
3 legs.
Okay. You guys have access. Like, he's just plugging them. Listen, I'm not disparaging Eitan. Eitan makes fantastic content. We all know that.
So this is, see, the funny thing about this, for him, a 3-leg parlay is basically his straight bet.
Yeah.
Like that's his toned down bet.
Right. No, listen, dude, Aton makes some of the best content you're going to find in the betting world. But he's pulling them from the OddsShopper parlay builder.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're gonna pull your bets, you want to make them plus EV, and me and Aton have talked a ton about this. Very, very, very profitable if you combine those profitable bets.
So here's what I mean by this, right? But Aton also knows how to use this too, right? Like you want to have some understanding. If you go into this and you're going, all right, 3 legs, you're looking at the XROI, you're looking at the expected win rate on this. We have some that are juiced kind of heavy to the over, right? But even if you were to break this down to a 4-leg parlay, remove the last one where you have Falk shots on goal. Okay. Old Justin Falk. This is the one that's pulling up for me on BetMGM.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Carlson, and then Marcus Morris Sr., and then you've got Mikel Granlund, right? I don't need to know about hockey at all. Seanzon just hit that massive round robin for 23,000 using
all hockey,
using this, and goes, I don't know shit about hockey, but I'll take it. Granted, he's a much larger bettor than most of us out there. But if I do this, I'm still getting almost 7-1 odds. And that's with an expected win rate of 15%.
And that's what we talked about at the beginning. Again, sliding scale. Expected win rate of 15%. Yeah. 85% of the time, you're going home with a sob story. But it's still profitable. Because when you hit it, you're getting paid, what'd you say, 7-1?
Yeah. Almost 666 plus 666.
Yeah. The devil.
I know I didn't want to say
the devil's parlay.
I didn't want to say it.
That doesn't sound good, but
just given those odds and what the expected win rate is, this is a objectively positive bet.
Absolutely. Just because one of the things that I think in general, and I've tried to really train myself with this, is thinking that all good bets have to be likely to win. That is not true at all.
No, it means that
the payoff exceeds the break-even point. That's what it means.
Yes. And it doesn't mean it's going to win. Like when you say something's objectively a good bet, it just means, like you said, the payoff outweighs the break-even point. In a spot like this, that's what you're getting in a lot of these. I went to DraftKings to look at, let's see where we're getting the best parlay odds. Break this down to a 4-leg parlay, plus 682 with an expected win of 15%, 17% XROI.
Yeah. All that stuff, again, just keep at it. And when you hit one, it's boom, it pays for it with interest. I mean, I always go, Lovey, I don't know if you think about this or I'm just deranged. Like I always think about the lotto, the actual lotto. If the lotto was, only 1,000 to 1, there was only 1,000 people in the lotto and one of us was going to win, it would be the best bet in the history of bets. And you would have a 0.1% chance of winning.
That's a great way to look at it. Like, yeah, I'm probably not going to win this, but I'd be an idiot not to place this bet.
It would be, if you could run that unlimited times, you would own multiple countries. Like that's just the nature of it. Eventually you would hit it and it would pay for every other bet times a bajillion. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do on a much smaller scale.
It's free for the first week, guys. Link in the description and in chat, oddshopper.com. And I just would ask you one thing. Go into this with the mindset of this. Go into it with the mindset of, like, I'm going to take a few minutes to learn why this tool is powerful and actually go into it. Take a few minutes, because otherwise you're going to walk out going, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not winning with this. You have to know what you're doing. That's all I'm saying. But it's super easy to learn that, and hopefully we've helped you with that. All right.
Where are we going? What do you want to do next?
Well, this is what I want to do. I throughout the day refresh OddsShopper an insane amount. I'm constantly refreshing it. And every time I get like a positive XROI, like a big positive XROI bet, I smash it. That's what I'm doing. And or I'm parlaying a few of the top XROI bets. So I just refreshed it from when we talked a few minutes ago. And Nick Richards rebounds, 10% XROI, under 9.5 rebounds. Now, I also kind of like this because there's a bit of correlation here with that Joe Val play, right? If we're going over on the Joe Val rebounds in a big way, that means that it has to cannibalize elsewhere. It has to siphon off rebounds elsewhere. Joe Val's 11th in the league in offensive rebound rate as well. So that looks good to me. New Orleans is 6th in rebound rate this season. So without even using the tool out of the gate, I don't mind Nick Richards under 9.5 rebounds here, especially the insane numbers we have at a 62% win rate, 10% XROI. This is one for me. If you're getting it in a good spot, again, like points bet under 9.5 minus 130. FanDuel 9.5 minus 132. Perfectly reasonable there. 2 cents if you're on FanDuel. Nick Richards under 9.5 rebounds looks like a great spot to hit today, given the tool, what the tool is saying.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. That was one, just a quick refresh, and they pop up and they move fast, and that's the other part of it. Like in 20 minutes, if you refresh this will probably be gone because these books are not stupid. They're not going to sit there with a bad line and just leave it. They're going to adjust. So right now, the under 9.5, you mentioned the front court that we already talked about, the other side of this game. It's just another way to get exposure to what I think is a pretty exploitable matchup on the inside with the Pelicans.
Yeah. This is one of the spots that I think if you're on you're probably on FanDuel, you would agree, right? The minus 132 on FanDuel compared to 130 on PointsBet, all things considered, not a bad spot if you're not on PointsBet.
There's a lot of these bets, and I'll give people just a sneak peek at some of the many things that we're going to keep adding to this tool. Like we're going to be able to show you even quicker how many books, because sometimes it's not just one book. There's 2 books. There, in some ways, could be a handful of books that are off. And in this situation, you just mentioned it, FanDuel, you're giving up 2 cents, and that's, you can live with that for sure.
Yeah, in the long run, that's negligible if those other books aren't available to you, put it that way. Man, a lot of Magic stuff that pops up every time you and I do a show here. Like we talked about Franz. What about Paolo Banchero? Over 6.5 rebounds at minus 115. And if you guys have any, throw them out there in chat. Let's get into this a little bit and have some fun. Oh, JGL said that the Richards rebound prop went down to 8.5. Let me see. No, it didn't. I still see it at 9.5.
Depends what book you're looking at. A lot of books moved, but I still see 9.5.
Well, no, that's the whole point. That's the whole reason we're talking about this. It's not the prop itself as much as where you're getting it.
Yep.
That's why I said FanDuel. Like DraftKings, it's at 8.5. There's other spots it's at 8.5 with the under still juiced. So yeah, FanDuel, forget, like it's not just like, hey, this bet is good, bet it anywhere. It's here's where it makes for a really, really good bet. And if you're only playing on a couple books, find the best bets for those specific books. Banchero on FanDuel is pretty much the best spot you're going to find.
Yeah, Banchero. Wow, someone just dropped the package off and it almost took down the whole apartment here. No respect. Over 6.5 at, you see minus 120. It's the same story. A lot of the other books have already made the move. They've already pushed this to 7.5. And yes, of course the juice adjusts, but not by enough. Like the extra rebound that you get, where if it lands on 7, still makes this the most profitable in that situation. So I'm with you there. I like the Magic to take it even more widespread. I think the Magic are going to win tonight. I think they can beat the Knicks. You're getting a couple points. They're a very live home dog.
I don't hate it. Not only are they a home dog, but Jalen Brunson might not play, so that factors in. Knicks playing the second of a back-to-back on the road. You can still get the Magic at 3 points in certain spots as well. If you were interested in that, Ben. 2.5 most places. Like I said, though, a lot of these other books, smaller books, have 3. Money line. Best place to get the money line on the Magic is FanDuel at plus 124.
Yeah. I like that. I always looked at that angle. The Magic, they're on a big road trip, came home, beat the Wizards. They're sitting at home. That's always a good angle. Like teams that are playing hard, that were on the West Coast swing, and then they come back, and now you've got the Knicks coming in, playing on the back-to-back. I think it's a pretty good spot for that. And then of course you've got the props with Wagner and Banchero.
Okay. Both. No, Wagner, we had the under, right? But we had the over on.
Yeah, the under. But it gels nicely. Like if Paolo's cashing our rebound prop, that's less rebounds.
Yeah.
For, you know what I mean? Like it sometimes sucks. And again, can the math work? Sure. But like if you bet 4 guys on the same team all to have over on their assists,
it doesn't work.
Hockey. Like it doesn't really work like that.
No, that's why the other day when I was on, Bridges over points or over threes and Dinwiddie over assists, it's like your hope there is that, that a lot of those Dinwiddie assists are going to Bridges. Ultimately, they just shit the bed, so it didn't matter. But you get where I'm going with that.
I do. It all has to work. And again, that's where same game parlays come into play. But yeah.
I do want to take a look at some 3-point ladder props. Maybe just one. I'm not saying we have to do it. I'm saying it's fun. And when they hit, life is just good.
Where?
That's a great question. Russell Westbrook. No, I'm kidding.
Giddy.
Yeah, you like the giddy ones?
No. He doesn't take enough.
He doesn't. Yeah, you got Paul George out. You know what one is interesting to me because I bet we get decent odds on it. Maybe not. What about Kawhi Leonard?
I knew you were going to say that. So Kawhi, I actually bet his 3-point prop within the last week or so. And again, I'm just looking, I'm box score hunting there, but he's taken 6, 7, 7, and 5. That's pretty healthy volume. Maybe there's an uptick there. You're going to see they're not shy with Kawhi anymore. He's playing major minutes.
Yep. The only thing he does now is he'll sit the front or back end of a back-to-back. That's it.
But that's great for betting. Like you would rather have a guy not play fully and then play max minutes than play 26 minutes randomly.
Big time. Especially when you want to ladder something and you know that there's not much risk on that playing time, barring a blowout, or an injury. 3+ made threes, minus 105. 4+ made threes, plus 250. 5+ made threes, plus 650.
No.
What do you say?
I say we should find a better player. I don't like that.
A better player.
Not a better player, a better spot.
Okay.
I'd rather use Dort.
Okay, fair enough.
7-1 for 4+.
But Kawhi's played 6 games without Paul George this year. Yeah, he's gone 3+ threes in 2 of them, 2 of his last 3. He has not gone for 4 in any of them. His usage is massive in a few of these games. But okay, let's keep looking. Let's stay on the prowl. What do you want to go to?
I said Dort, but
Lou Dort. All right, so okay. I mean,
he's not shy. That's the beauty of it. Like he could legitimately take 10 threes in this game.
Maxey style, where if they're raining down, he's just going to keep shooting them. Yeah.
Like he was they just played the Clips. And he was 1 for 8. Like anytime you make 1 3 and you're taking 8, the guy's not deterred if he's 0 for 2 or 3 early.
I don't hate it because he's plus 700 on 4 threes.
That's what I mean. Like to me, volume trumps everything. Like if I knew Kawhi was going to take the amount of threes that Dort would, I'd be all over it, but he's not.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2, 3, 4, 5. He's hit it in 5 of his last 14 games, 4 of 3s. Now, granted, like SGA was I'm assuming out some of those games, but I don't hate Lou Dort 4 threes at +7 at 7-1. All right.
Do worse than that. Sorry, I was checking I was checking in on the soccer scores. Your boy San Marino put up a whopping 0 goals again.
That's par for
Poor
the course.
bastards.
Par for the course. I kind of like that Dort play.
He's got the right, again, there are two different types of, when you're using the tools and whatnot, we're talking about, we're honing in on a number and we're just trying to get slight value over it and do that over and over. When you're talking about alts and ladders, you don't care if the guy misses by an extreme amount. You're just saying, how often does he hit that top end ceiling? And to me, Dort is that type of guy. Like, he could go 0 for 6 tonight from threes. But he could legitimately go 5 of 12.
Yeah. Okay, Dort. And I want to get your thoughts on one more before we move on here. And by the way, for those of you DFS players, deeper dive live before lock for this slate coming up on our partner channel, Stochastic, everything you need for DFS. So there's 4 games. Are there any players you look at and go, hey, this is one of those guys that, in the same vein maybe as Lou Dort, where like you don't need to get 5 threes in order to get massive plus money, but maybe they just have one of those games where they pop off and end up giving you a huge number. Trey Murphy's tough because someone mentioned Trey Murphy. 5+ made threes on Trey Murphy is plus 500. That's worse odds than Kawhi without Paul George. Of course, Trey Murphy's going to chuck him, but 4+ made threes is only plus 200 there. 3-point shooting is such a volatile statistic. It's such a volatile stat that I would really prefer to get big plus money on these, Ben, because a lot of days they're just not falling no matter how good of a 3-point shooter you are.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, you got to kind of take it in some ways at face value of like, what's my reasonable target? To me, I don't worry at all, or at least I don't really factor in the chances he makes them. I think that's borderline random at times. Like, I try to hone in on realistically how many threes could he take in a game. And if there's like 7 to 10 range, I say, okay, then I need to get lucky. Can he make 50% from 3 for one game? Yeah, of course. What about this?
As long as they're shooting is all I care about.
We got a good one from chat. What do you think about Donovan Mitchell? Over 40 points, 9-1.
Wait, what's 9-1?
Well, we should check it on DraftKings, but Calvin said Donovan Mitchell over 40 points is plus 900 on DraftKings.
Plus 9. Okay, so I will say this much. When you're betting these alt lines and double doubles, always check different books. This is where you get massive discrepancies in lines. Not all the time, but oftentimes you get massive discrepancies in lines. Donovan Mitchell over 40. Oh, you can't even get over 40 on FanDuel.
He's plus 480 to score 35 plus on FanDuel.
He's plus 480 to score
35 plus.
35 plus. And on FanDuel, what is it? For 40?
That's on FanDuel.
Or for on DraftKings, what is it? Well, there you go.
Yeah, plus 900 for over 40, but I like the plus 480
on the 35.
40 you can sprinkle there if you want to divvy it up, but man, almost 5-1 for 35 against the Nets.
I don't hate that. Not even a little bit.
Competitive spread too.
Just always make sure you're cross-referencing it with other books. By the way, I talked to our developers about, can we get double doubles in here? And they said they're working on it, which is very exciting.
Yeah, you see, you cause everyone to have more work. You love double doubles.
But, well, that's not, dude, I'm telling you, you can find double doubles that are like plus 100 at one place and plus 170 at other books. Those are massive advantages if you can find them. You know how easy it's going to be to just go on OddsShopper and find that without me having to cross-reference every book. Like, I look across 5 different books for double doubles sometimes. It's such a painstaking process.
No, I hear you. And I need it on OddsShopper because I'm putting myself in permanent double-double timeout, because the last time I mentioned double doubles on the show, Sabonis had like 35 and 35.
No, you had mentioned a no double double for
on Sabonis,
and he triple doubled.
Yeah, in like the first half.
It was like 5-1.
Oh yeah, of course, but it's still some shameful shit over here.
Yeah, relatively shameful for sure.
Yeah, even for me.
Let's just see. Let's just pull one quick before we do the community poll and get out of here. Let me just take a random player. Okay. I'll take Brandon Ingram double. Okay. And I haven't looked at this. It's possible that it's just the same on here as it is elsewhere. But the other day there was a plus 400 and a plus 900 at two different books. That's crazy. And Ben, I know they're already long shots, but if you're already going to bet this long shot, turn 10 into 90 instead of 10 into 40, or, 100 into 900 instead of 100 into 400. That's all I'm saying here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're saving money on both ends. If you lose, you're saving some of the juice that you were paying. And if you win, you're getting more money in some of those circumstances.
Brandon Ingram plus 460 on FanDuel, plus 390 on DraftKings.
Yeah. They both can't. Also, think about it logically the other way. They can't both be right. One of those inherently has to be slightly off.
Right. And if you already planned on betting them to get the double, just bet the one that's plus 460 or whatever it is. Even if it's not the one that's off, Ben, because you're betting it anyway.
Yeah. We had a question from chat about round robins. It said, if you play a round robin and the whole parlay hits, do you win the parlay and the round robin or just the round robin? So round robins are just...
Explain to everyone how round robins work, though, first.
Sure. So round robins are just parlays. It's just an easy way to organize. So it's taking every combination of the bets that you're selecting. So if you say I want a two-leg round robin and it's 3 games, you're going to get A, B, and C. You'll get A and B, A and C, B and C. So you get all of them. You wouldn't win the 3-leg parlay in that situation unless you bet that as well. And that would be a round robin with 3 legs. So it's just an easy way to organize if you have a bunch of bets and you want to parlay every single combination.
Is there lower upside but a higher floor?
So it depends how many legs. It's not going to change. Like if you did it manually, it wouldn't change at all. But when you do a round robin, it's not all or nothing. It reminds me actually, Lofty, of something you bring up a lot on PrizePicks, where, PrizePicks, you get, if you miss one, you get that little back. You know what I mean? And round robins in some ways is very similar. If you do a 2-leg round robin and you have, say, 7 bets in there, you don't have to hit all 7 to get some back. Now, you're not going to win all of it because you're going to have losers scattered throughout there as well, but you will get a return if a handful of those bets win. Those combinations that go 2 for 2 pay out like a normal parlay.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's a cool thing. And, you already mentioned one of the sharpest guys here at OddsShopper, Sean John. He bets a ton of round robins with he takes the best bets off the tool. And when they link up, you can make a crazy amount of money.
He just did.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game for sure. You're gonna have a lot of days where you get gutter balled, but you also have that GPP upside for DFS players.
For sure. All right. Well, hey, hit that thumbs up before we do this community poll here. And remember, one more time, you guys, all 220 of you right now, you want to join the chalkboard. The app is free. Ben just hopped in there. You got Greg in there. All the picks are free. I'm in there hanging out every day. We got people throwing tennis picks in there. It's so much other stuff, college, but you name it. But listen, it's becoming an awesome community. Thanks to so many of you for actually joining it and helping us start this off at the ground floor. Going to be doing a bunch of giveaways as well and all that stuff to show our appreciation for everyone that's jumping in with us. But the app down there, it's free. Everything in there is free. It's not like your first week. Now, everything forever is free. So come hop in and join us. What do we have? Who won? Was it Gonzaga?
I don't even know. Sons of... So what am I going to do? I'm just going to put them in the parlay twice, I guess.
I guess you have to.
Smart.
Is that who you were going to go with?
I mean, I love Gonzaga today for sure, but I will go with a different game. No problem.
All right. Let's do FanDuel because I'm going Nick Richards with the under 9.5 rebounds. It's our top rated bet, our top graded bet, 10% expected ROI, 62% win percentage, minus 132 odds on FanDuel.
That's a great one. Again,
9.5 rebounds, Mike. 9.5. You're good. Minus 132 on FanDuel.
I'm going to go to obviously college basketball. Line is moving with me. I wish we got a little earlier, but I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic. They were on the poll and they did not get selected, but I like that side as well. Florida Atlantic, it's down to 4.5 at -110, but the Owls tonight, first of all, the thing I like, the game is going to be played really sluggish. The total's dropped under 130. So this is going to be an ugly, ugly game. And this team is good. I don't think people realize they've won 30 plus games. Tennessee punched Duke in the mouth, out physicaled them. All of that was great. I think this game plays more like the Lafayette game in the round one. You know, Louisiana caused them some problems. Tennessee can't really score. FAU's got a ton of depth. They play a ton of guys a lot of minutes. So they're not going to be, you know, worn down by Tennessee like Duke was in some ways. Close game. Do I think Florida Atlantic wins? Probably not, but 4.5 is more than enough. Little college basketball sandwich with Nick Richards. This is a nice looking parlay.
Plus 540.
Ooh,
nothing
okay.
crazy. Okay. I like it. Hey, follow Ben at JazzRez DFS, me at Lafayette_D, or you can come hang out in the Chalkboard app free every day. I thought I was in there at 6:50 in the morning or whatever it was. Greg's in there all day as well. We're having fun. Appreciate you guys. Good luck tonight. And yo, shoot us your winning tickets. You hit anything? Anyone hits that Joval prop or who was the ladder? The Lou Dort ladder. We want to see
Lou Dort ladder,
shit.
baby. Let's go.
We want to see that shit. Twitter, Chalkboard, wherever it is. We'll see you back here tomorrow to close out the week. Peace.